Hello and welcome on the IBP series powered by Camelot. Today, a special episode requested by Yogesh. Thanks, Yogesh, for your comment, and also thanks to all of you for your subscription and the likes. We will see today the resource and the capacity management in IBP. So first, what type of resource can we define in IBP? They can be of 4 different standard kind and one more of my own. The first one is production. So it's anything that you could place in recipes in order to manage your planning, your production planning. This is normal production resource. Then there is also, as a second type, the storage resource, where whenever you want to track the pallet position occupation in a storage place, for instance, according to the planning. Then there is also the material handling type of resource, which is all about the flows, the material flows going in and out a storage location. So in order to analyze and determine the load on the people preparing the goods, for instance. Then there is the transportation resource attached to any location source, in other words, transportation lane, which allows you to track and follow the volume planned to be transported between 2 locations, for instance. And then the fifth one, the type, which is not standard, that's my own. Thinking out of the box, you can imagine any type of resource to extend your design to special concern mentioned by your customers, like I wish to manage the wastewater, to the fresh water, the electricity levels, the CO2 emissions, or any other regulation limits. So you can definitely use resource as well to cover these topics. Then from the definition perspective, resource and capacity are made of two kinds of things. The master data first, and then the key figure elements. So the master data, as we can see here, there are many master data in IBP, and from the resource perspective, we have the resource master, we have the location resource, where we define the supply. Then we have the production source resource, where you define what resource is to be used when we produce such product. And then the resource location product whenever you have the scenario for storage or material handling resource. Then about the capacity supply, it can be either defined in the product master, here in location resource, as a simple figures for the full periods, or it can be a time dependent. And also from the capacity definition, you can define base capacity for heuristic scenario, or even expansion of capacity whenever you run the optimizer scenario, for instance. And of course, you can use also the formulas in order to create your own capacity definition, your own available capacity definition. Then the other topic is capacity consumption rate, which is the theoretical utilization of a resource for a 1 unit of product. Okay, this is so-called capacity consumption rate. And it is defined at prod, loc, and res, product, location, and resource level. It can be, again, a simple data coming from the PSR itself. So say, for instance, to produce one product, I need 1 minute of such a resource. Or it can even be a time dependent. And in chemical industry, for instance, you may have different throughput according to product and different conditions of productions. And of course, the consumption rate can also be managed by means of formula in order to introduce some simulation elements, for instance, in your capacity consumption rate definition. Then out of the planning that you run, being the heuristics or the optimizer, you will be concerned with capacity usage. The usage is the amount of time consumed on the resource by the planning itself. So it's the capacity usage. Linked to that, there is the capacity utilization and possibly some formula and some further key figures to mention how we use this capacity. Once the resources are defined, then there is different context of your resource utilization. It can be, for instance, the infinite heuristics, where the resources are pretty simple to define, and the results also are quite simple with infinite results. Then if we go to the other scenario using the finite heuristics, here we intend to have a planning which would possibly limit the utilization of resources to the available capacity. But finite heuristic being a degraded version of the optimizer, don't expect so much about that. Then there is the advanced scenario using the optimizer, where you can define an available capacity, an expansion of capacity for the resource in case the optimizer needs a little more, with of course a penalty. And that's the optimizer scenario, which will give you a feasible solution over the available capacity. And then there is the order-based planning scenario where, in fact, from the capacity, it's all coming from S4. So what you define in the transaction CR02, meaning the work center maintenance or the resource maintenance in S4, is imported in IBP and you cannot change anything. Time for the demo now. Let's go over the master data and the utilization of those resources in IBP. For the demo, let me start from the end of the story, which is here, for instance, in the production planner of our solution, SCM Lab. We see that the planning has given for this product a certain production receipts with those quantity per period. Okay, which one have a consequence on the capacity. And a capacity like this one in this location, in this plant, is being overloaded for this week and not overloaded, and why not in the other periods, and so on and so forth. And by the way, if I need to know what product is consumed on this resource, there is the other view, which is a more detailed view, where I will see in this resource, in this view, for instance, let me reframe that here. We see that the packaging line is currently used by this production, the product of this product, okay, up to 139 hours required to produce the 139 product, okay, out of an available capacity of 120. Therefore, I am overloaded by 115%. And wherever here in the next week, I have not so much to do, and therefore I am underutilized as a resource versus the product using this resource. And you see in this other packing resource, we've got here two products that are consuming this resource with their relative production quantity, leading to 176 over 120. Therefore, it's still overloaded here. So now, how do we define the elements to have such a result in the system? So we have to define master data first. So here we see the master data concerned with the resource. So the first is the global master from the resource. It's only the name of the resource and the descriptions. Then the most important one, that is location resource, where you define the capacity, the supply capacity, available capacity, and is it single value or time dependent. Then the same for the capacity expansion, which is used during optimizer scenario. And is this expansion a time series relevant one? Then the constraint type, is it a finite resource or not? Okay. And also the resource type, and that allows you to define whether it's a storage, material handling, or production. It's not used here. Then the next master data important is the relation between the resource ID and the corresponding product out of the source ID. That's where we do use the resource to produce this product out of this production version coming from S4. Here we see a time-independent capacity consumption rate for one unit of this product. Okay, and it can be also time-dependent. And like what we have seen so far was about production resource. Now let's focus on handling and storage resource. For that, although I have already a favorite showing that, the storage and handling resource, which is here currently shown, you can define the resource, then the location resource the same way like for production resource, except that you need to maintain the resource type, the appropriate one. Is it either value 1 or 2? 2 for handling, 1 for storage. And also, third element, you need to define the relation between the product and the resource. That is the aim of this third master data type, which for the location and this product, you say, I consume this handling resource for a quantity of 5 per unit of my product. To see the result in planning, so let me use one of our good template, which is transportation planner. Hey, Daniel, don't hide transportation planner. There it is, it comes. And then in the transportation planner, you can assess the flows of materials between the different transportation lane, from, to, okay, for such product with the transported quantity. And because of this different movement of materials in the stocks and handling, so then we have a status about storage resource like this one, and shows us that we are consuming currently the handling and storage resource to that amount of the capacity resource due to the planning elements. Third, the transportation resource a bit different compared to the others. So for that, of course, you have a similar master data type, like the resource, the same. Location resource, where you have to define for your transportation resource that it is of type 3, okay, as you can see here. But more importantly, because I can tell you I spent and wasted my time searching for that, the location to which you attach this resource, transportation resource, is a virtual location. You don't need to define it, just you use __ trans res loc. And by so doing, then the system knows that it is a transportation resource. And now, as a result of this transportation resource master data setup plus multiplied by the planning result, we now have the consumption of this transportation resource by the product being transported between the two locations. Here currently, the trick is also to have the resource naming the from and the source. As on the display perspective, you cannot really rely on displaying source location and destination location here, specifically for transport. Then as a summary of this demonstration, so we've seen the master data for production, for transportation, for material handling, and for storage resource. Here we see the result of production resource being used by the planning at an aggregated level of resource, or even at a detailed level of each resource being consumed by product, like it is the case here with this resource being consumed by the two, or from the transportation planner outputs that we have here, to have related to the transportation. So first, the transportation resource consumption, like we can see here, and or the storage and handling consumption resource, like we can see here for storage resource. This is it. We are finished with the topic of today. You know how now to manage production, storage, handling, and transportation resource, and even further the virtual resource. Hope you appreciated this topic, and don't forget, a like or a subscription makes me happy. See you later. Bye now.